So, INFJs, right? People see them as one of the most confusing personality types in the whole Myers-Briggs thing. But why is that? I mean, you ever try to figure one of these people out? It's like peeling back layers of a puzzle that never seems to fit. In today's video, we're diving deep into like 4 reasons why INFJs can be so impossible to get. And we're going to break down the psychology behind what makes them tick. All right, so first things first, INFJs, they're practically multilingual, fluent in a language no one else seems to get. Now, let's unpack one of the real head-scratchers about INFJs. Their knack for yakking in what sounds like straight-up code. See, they ain't exactly direct communicators. Nah, they're all about metaphors, symbols, and these big abstract ideas that are like super glued to their feelings. It's like they're broadcasting from another planet, which, let's be honest, is why everyone else is standing there, scratching their heads. Ever had an INFJ drop some truth on you and you're just sitting there more lost than before? You're trying to decode what they're laying down, but it's like there's this whole secret level to the conversation you can't even find the stairs to. These INFJs, they're deep divers, thinking in spirals, connecting dots that are invisible to the rest of us. So when they open their mouths, it's not just about the blah blah on top, it's the hidden message underneath. They could be riffing on life, but there's always this undercurrent, this extra layer of significance attached to every darn thing. So this way of chatting, it ain't some kind of, conscious attempt at being all cryptic or mysterious. It's just how us INFJs kind of process and make sense of the whole shebang. They experience these crazy emotional depths, and their words, they reflect all that jazz. For an INFJ, a simple question like, "How was your day?" can turn into like a deep dive into existence, purpose, or even some philosophical chinwag. This depth, see, is part of what makes INFJs such intimate communicators, but it also makes them kind of hard to decode for those not hip to their thought process. So why does this confusion happen? INFJs ain't trying to make things hard to get. They're just speaking from this place of emotion and intuition where everything's connected, They can like connect the dots between feelings, ideas, and experiences in ways that feel totally natural to them, but kind of challenging to others. The abstract becomes their primary language, and it's a world that outsiders might find hard to navigate. For INFJs, though, this language is their truth. It's how they process their surroundings and the deep emotions they pick up on. So if you've ever found yourself trying to figure out an INFJ, just know it's not about their desire to confuse you, it's about their rich inner world that simply can't be expressed in simple terms. The depth of their communication is a testament to their ability to connect on a soul level. But it also makes them hard to fully understand, even for those who try to listen closely.
All right, so next up,
The INFJ paradox, deep but also detached. So if you've ever met an INFJ, you've probably noticed something that's both intriguing and kind of confusing. They're often seen as deeply empathetic and emotionally attuned to others, yet they can also come across as distant or even aloof. This paradox, being simultaneously warm and disconnected, leaves many people wondering, how can they care so much yet pull away so quickly? This is one of the key reasons why INFJs are often so hard to understand. Here's the thing. INFJs are empaths in the truest sense. They can feel the emotions of others with an intensity that's hard to explain. Their empathy isn't just about recognizing someone's feelings, it's about experiencing them as if they were their own. When an INFJ connects with someone, they dive deeply into that emotional landscape. They'll give their heart to someone's struggles, always willing to offer comfort and support. But then, the shift happens. Suddenly they retreat into their own inner world, leaving others wondering where that warmth went. So why the heck do INFJs pull a disappearing act like this? Well, it's because they soak up all the emotional weirdness from everyone else, like a sponge, They gotta wring themselves out, process it, recharge the batteries. If they don't get away and find some kind of balance, they're gonna get swamped, emotionally speaking. This whole empathy thing, it's a gift, sure, but it's also their Achilles heel. INFJs, super sensitive to what everyone else is feeling. After diving headfirst into someone's emotional baggage, they just need some alone time to reboot. This ain't about being aloof, it's about survival, capiche? It's this whole internal tug-of-war, wanting to connect with people on a deep level, but needing the space to recover that throws everyone for a loop. INFJs might come off as distant or cold, but really, they're just trying to guard their own sanity. They gotta process all the junk they've absorbed before they can jump back into the fray. Doesn't mean that they don't care, all right? It's just that their empathy levels are so high, they need a little emotional buffer to avoid a total meltdown. So the INFJ paradox, yeah, that can be real frustrating for some folks, especially if they've just gotten all cozy with that INFJ's deep emotional vibe, and then bam, suddenly they're getting the cold shoulder. It ain't that the INFJ doesn't care, see? They just gotta recharge, maintain their own sanity. This constant back and forth, this dance of come closer, go away, is why they're so darn hard to figure out. But here's the kicker, it's just part of how they're wired, you know? And it's key to them being able to actually connect with the people who really need it. Thirdly, the authenticity thing, yeah, it's complicated. So one of the things that's kind of weird about INFJs is they're obsessed with being real. Like seriously, it's gotta be real relationships, real jobs, even real chats at the coffee machine. They can't stand the fake stuff. And you know what? That's where things get tricky. See, this whole gotta be authentic thing, it can make it hard for people to get them. I mean, it's a big reason why people don't get INFJs. INFJs, they're like emotional lie detectors. They can tell when someone's faking it or hiding how they really feel. For them, being real is super important. And when they think something's off, they just bail. That's why they're picky about who they let get close. They don't want just chit chat, they want the deep stuff where everyone's being themselves. And when that doesn't happen, yeah, they get annoyed and just check out. Now, here's the thing that gets everyone twisted. It ain't that INFJs are judging folks for being phonies. They're just guarding their own sanity, you know? They just can't deal with anyone who ain't keeping it real because it's like emotionally draining, a real slog. INFJs, they're always stuck in these situations where people just don't get how intense their need for realness is. And the non-INFJs, they think we're being all critical or judgy, but it ain't about being superior. It's about how we just can't engage with anything less than the cold, hard truth. This need for authenticity, it's what makes INFJs like the most loyal friends and partners you'll ever find, but it's also why they can seem distant, even detached sometimes. INFJs, they ain't gonna just let anyone into their lives, just because it's convenient or looks good on paper. They need trust, honesty, and a real emotional connection. It's the foundation of every relationship they build. Without it, they just can't open up, and they ain't gonna feel emotionally fulfilled. So this whole demand for like real interactions, yeah, it kind of leaves our INFJ friends feeling like they're stuck in a rom-com, searching for the one. I mean, they're not snobs, but if you're not on their level, forget about it. They might seem distant, but come on, they're just waiting for someone to drop the act. And when that doesn't happen, hello, existential crisis. But hey, it's this need for realness that keeps them going, you know? And when they finally click with someone, bam, connection's so deep, it's like they've known each other since the Stone Age. All right, settle down, I got one for you. Fourthly, the old INFJ constant internal conflict, am I right? So these INFJs, they're always described as the dreamers, right? But behind that whole visionary thing, there's this constant internal battle going on that just makes them a head scratcher for everyone else. On one hand, they got this crystal clear picture of how the world should be. You know, all sunshine, rainbows, and everyone holding hands, singing Kumbaya. But then, bam, they're smack dab in a world that's basically a dumpster fire of chaos, pain, and just plain disconnect. It's this never-ending gap between their ideals and the less than ideal reality that creates this deep emotional tension. And here's the kicker. INFJs are total perfectionists, not just with people, but with how they see the whole world. They got this burning need to fix things, to make the world a better place, and themselves too, naturally, but reality? Oh, it's usually light years away from their perfect vision, and that's when the inner turmoil really kicks in. They want to fix everything, but they feel totally helpless when they're faced with the sheer messiness of the real world. This whole contradiction, wanting to save the world but feeling like it's mission impossible, leads to a never-ending internal face-off. On the outside, they look all put together, maybe even a little zen. But let me tell you, inside, total chaos. They're wrestling with the big questions, like what's my purpose? And is this all there is? It's like they're trying to solve a Rubik's Cube, blindfolded. And get this, they're their own worst critics. I mean, I thought I was hard on myself, but these folks, they hold themselves to standards that are, frankly, impossible. The fear of not being perfect, it haunts them. Now, here's where it gets interesting. People think they're mysterious, aloof even, but they're not trying to be. They just don't wear their existential dread on their sleeves. They're too busy trying to figure out how to save the world while simultaneously dealing with the fact that their sock drawer is a disaster. And sometimes that's a battle they gotta fight solo. So this whole internal tension thing, it's like an INFJ's personal sitcom, right? They're the starry-eyed idealists wanting to change the world, but they're also stuck with front row seats to the world's dumpster fire. That's where they get all angsty and apathetic sometimes. They see the penthouse suite, but they're stuck in the basement, you know? But here's the kicker. That struggle, it's their origin story. It's what gets them moving, one painfully small step at a time. All right, that's the end of this one, folks. Let me know what you think down below, your ideas and all that. I mean, that's why I'm making these videos in the first place, right? So, I'll catch you in the next one.